This Sunday marks 51 years since the Har Habayit was returned to Jewish hands. This is a very special miracle that happened to the Jewish people. It was like a gift from God that the Temple Mount, the Har Habayit, should return to the Jewish people. But it's not just a gift that we received from God. At that moment, certain mitzvos immediately came incumbent upon the Jewish people to observe. Now, I want to talk about one of those mitzvos. The Rambam in Hilchos Bechira, Perek Zayin, Halacha Aleph says, Mitzvahs aseh liyira min hamikdash. It's a mitzvah from the Torah to show fear, awe to the Beis Hamikdash. Shenema, as it says in the Torah, Umikdashi tira'u. From my sanctuary, from my Mikdash, you shall express and show fear and awe. Now the Rambam goes on to say, how does one go about showing yira to the Har Habayit? The Rambam says, Ve'ezo hi yiraso. How do you go about and show, express yira to the Har Habayit? Shelo yikanes adam l'Har Habayit b'maklo o b'min'al shebaraglav. A person can't walk up to Har Habayit with his cane or with his shoes on the Har Habayit. Furthermore, the Rambam says, she'asalo l'rok b'chol Har Habayit. It's also to spit on Har Habayit. So we are commanded, when one ascends the Har Habayit, to go in a most respectful manner. Cannot wear shoes, cannot spit on the Har Habayit. Now the Rambam points out, this mitzvah is not only applicable when the Beis Hamikdash stands. The Rambam in Halacha Zayin says, Af al pi she'hamikdash yom charev ba'avon noseinu, even though the Mikdash today is destroyed because of our sins, chayav adam b'moro. Nevertheless, you still must show yira, kamo shehaya noed bo b'vinyano, just as it was incumbent upon us when the Beis Hamikdash stood, so that mitzvah, this mitzvah of Mikdashi Tira'u, applies today. Now today, anyone who ascended the Har Habayit will see what a terrible busha, what a terrible disgrace is taking place on the Har Habayit. On one occasion when I was there, I witnessed a funeral taking place from the holy sanctuary of the Azara. They were carrying out a deceased person. The Azara, where the Shem HaMeforish came out from the Kohen Gadol's mouth on Yom Kippur, now is being used as a funeral parlor. And if you look around, you see tourists from all over the world come walking there as if they're going to a museum site with their shoes. And let me tell you, people are not mocked if they have to spit. They spit on the ground, unfortunately. And all this is taking place under Jewish sovereignty, under Jewish rule. It is as if we are mavata, we're annulling this mitzvah in the Torah. I therefore want to express that I think it's an important chiyuv on Yom Yerushalayim to go up to the Har Habayit, to send a message to the people of Israel, to send a message to Jews throughout the world that the Har Habayit is kodesh to the Jewish people. The Har Habayit maintains its place as the most kodesh place for the Jewish people. To send a message to the world that the Har Habayit is the Jewish people's most kodesh site, holiest site is the Har Habayit. Now I want to stress the importance of this mitzvah. The Medrash in Sedrat Chayesara talks about when Alexander the Great came to Israel. So when Alexander the Great came to Israel, he wanted to go to see the Har Habayit. So as he approached the Har Habayit, they changed his shoes for him. They had special shoes that would be permissible to enter the Har Habayit. And as they entered the Har Habayit, as they approached the Kodesh Kodashim, the Medrash says, the Medrash points out, V'kivan she'agia lebeis Kodesh Kodashim, as they approached the Kodesh Kodashim, Amrulo, they said to Alexander the Great, Ad kan yesh lanu reshus l'kones. Up to this point we can walk. Mikan ve'elech ein lanu reshus l'kones. From here we cannot walk. Can you imagine saying to such a powerful leader, such a powerful king, and say, Your Majesty, Your Honor, Your Excellency, here we must stop. Here we cannot go further. Because they knew the importance of the mitzvah min Torah mikdashi tiro. And today, it's as if no one cares. The place is being used for secular reasons, for secular purposes. A funeral parlor, a tourist attraction, under Jewish sovereignty, under Jewish rule. So by going up to Har Habayit, you're sending a message that this place is the most holy site for the Jewish people. It's a message not only for the Jewish people, it is a message for the whole world. And with this chus of fulfilling this mitzvah, we should be zocher to return tefillah to Har Habayit. We should be zocher to bring korbanos, korban Pesach, and other korbanos to Har Habayit. We should be zocher to build the Beis HaMikdash. And we should be zocher to the coming of the Melech HaMashiach b'me'er v'yameinu. Amen.